Emily tried many ways to find the boys. Early on, the boys crossed her mind frequently. On happier days, when she was with Amelia and her mother, she even thought about sparing them. Each time this forgiving mood swept across her psyche, she reached just below the surface to an emotional wound that for her would never heal. After remembering the events, she always reached the same conclusion. No, they will die. The yellow twin was powerful, far beyond his 10 years. To elude Emily for a night was a feat. To elude Emily for several months was quite amazing. To evade her for 8 years spoke to Chase's abilities. Emily knew one day the normal one, Chance, would make a mistake. When he did make a mistake, she would happily capitalize on the error. She'd find them and destroy them both. The main police department's trail ran cold in their pursuit of the twins after they found the mother who took them from the hospital. They followed the trail from the hospital to the gas station where she remembered gassing up. They scoured video footage from the petrol station, and it showed the two boys holding hands as they exited the mother's car. It also showed the boys walking to the rear of the petrol station. There was insufficient footage to show which vehicle or direction they had gone once they went around the corner. They were out of the range of the camera. Dolores made pleas to the local media for their return. Without the influence of the powerful judge and the media machine behind her, combined with the lack of witnesses and evidence, the boys and their story quietly disappeared. Amazingly smart for their ages, the boys exited the hospital as soon as they realized Emily and the dog were after their father. With a single clasped hand, they carefully went down the stairs to the parking garage. As if it was prearranged, a mother was buckling her toddler into his car seat. She looked over at Chase and Chance and motioned for them to get in the back seat beside baby Dylan. She visited the hospital earlier in the day and waited patiently for care because, like many first-time mothers, she worried about her young son's health. He had a persistent cough that seemed to be worsening, or at least she thought it was worse than the day prior. The doctor saw her and her son and ran a few small tests. The doctor found that the little boy was fine. The mother was pleasantly surprised and slightly embarrassed to learn she had overreacted. After leaving the hospital, the mother stopped at a petrol station to refuel her car. The boys exited the back seat and walked to the refueling area for a tractor-trailer's truck. A driver from a distant pump saw the boys and waved them over. Because the yellow eye would not let go of his twin, when they reached him, the driver had to lift them both into the driver's seat at the same time. He then instructed them to move over. The driver closed the door behind the boys and walked away. Chance worried something was wrong. A short time later, the driver brought 2 hot dogs, 2 small bags of crisps, and pop for each of them. With his truck fueled up and his 2 passengers contently in place, he drove south on I-91. Needing a break from the road, the boys were dropped in an ice cream parlor in West Memphis, Tennessee, just off of I-40. They went inside where they sat in a corner booth. While seated, they saw a father in line with his 9-year-old son finalizing his order with the young man at the register. After a 45-second conversation with his son on ice cream and flavors and choices, the dad made the order. While he purchased and waited on the ice cream, his son Sam walked around the parlor and looked for a booth to eat the ice cream. Sam saw the boys and made friends with the 10-year-old twin. When Sam's dad turned around, he saw his son talking to 2 red-haired little boys. He walked over to Sam and gave him his cone and extended his hand and cup of ice cream to the twins. Once the ice cream was consumed, all 3 of the boys went home with the single father. That evening they enjoyed a shower, a home-cooked meal, and fresh clothes. The next day, the dad drove many miles southwest and stopped in Denton, Texas. He stopped at a local market and let the boys out. The twins walked up to an elderly woman who had just completed her shopping. She slowly and carefully began to lift one of the 2 paper bags into the rear of the vehicle. Chase and Chance each grabbed the bags and placed the heavy and awkward sacks inside the car for her. Once the bags were in the back, the twins sat along with the older lady in her Chrysler on her bench front seat. By afternoon, they arrived at the place that they would call home for the next 8 years.